Welcome back into Combat Sports today. My name is Jake Lippman, and we are back with a familiar face, a friend of the page, a recent victor, the Badman, Shamel Findley. How you doing, Shamel?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And I'm healthy, so that's always a plus.
Absolutely, and we'll get into the fight soon, but I was looking at your Instagram story a little earlier today. Looks like you were
hmm
already running 5Ks and stuff. Didn't you
Oh
just fight
yeah,
the other day?
yeah, yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Shoot, even the day of the fight, me and my friend, we were actually laughing about it. We came up with this analogy. We were talking about how when people drive their cars, you ever had that experience where you drive all the way home and you can't remember all the
Yep.
turns you made and this and that. It's like we were joking about it. We're like, yeah, that's when you don't drive, you've become a driver. Like, like now you don't even got to think about it, right? So that's how I feel about this fighting. That's the confidence I'm gaining. Like I went to work the day of the fight, drove out, and I did what I had to do. So it's like I feel like I'm stepping into that realm where it's like, hey, I mean, yeah, I just fought a couple days ago because that's just what I do. It's like breathing.
Well, it's easy for you from the outside looking in. You just fought a 3-0 guy in his backyard, and I mean, you won. I'm sure some recovery was needed. It was a close fight. I mean, split
Mm,
decision. I'm sure we'll talk all about that in a moment. But
yeah.
from what I saw, it seemed like you were able to use your grappling. You were able to control the striking. It was really well rounded. And quite frankly, from the little bit of tape I was able to watch, it seems pretty dominant victory in your side. How do you feel coming off that fight? And what's your recovery been like since?
Ah, man, I feel really good about that fight. I think it went a lot like what we discussed in the first interview, minus obviously I'm always out there for the finish, so that was a little surprising. But like the way I feel about him hasn't changed. I kind of knew, and maybe it's in the first interview. I just feel like he's just tough, you know. Um, but that he hadn't been challenged in the way he was going to be challenged against me, and I was confident in the fact that he would slow down and eventually break. So I feel like that's really how the fight went. As far as it being a split decision, you know, I don't like to argue with the judges because I don't like to go to the judging. But like you said, you've seen the clips, you see what work was being put out, who was landing what, whose takedown or takedowns meant more. What takedowns came with damage. So in the end, it's always a hard task going to somebody else's backyard and getting the W, especially from the judges. So I feel like me getting it that way tells you all you need to know.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was his backyard, but you're just down the road. So I'm sure
hmm
going from work and going right back to work afterwards was a smooth trip down I-95 for you. And I'm sure it felt good. Does that mean you might be fighting with the promotion again, though?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would. Shout out to Mitch, shout out to Richard. They took care of me. There was a lot of a lot of stuff going into this fight that was basically, like I told them, I actually ended up speaking to them after the fight. When I came there, uh, and I realized like, hey, this is their guy. The opponent himself, he already started all these antics and things in the morning of the weigh-ins and just a lot of little stuff going on. I felt like, okay, I'm not only fighting him, I'm fighting the promoter, the owner, the this, the that. So there was a lot of little. It was all cordial and it was all professional and respectful, obviously, but it was a lot of little like fighting before the fight, but I feel like it really helped me because it gave me that fuel I needed.
I mean, maybe you would say it turned you into the Batman.
And it's crazy. Yeah, it was just like I was telling you. Like, what does it mean? It's really an aura. There were a couple times, even my opponent himself. There were times where you know people might respond to me a certain way over the phone, but when I'm in person, it's none of that. You get what I'm saying? That's what I know about what that aura means and what that part of my ego how it shines. So people don't do that type of stuff to me in person, and that's how we end up smoothing that over.
Well, you smoothed it over. Let's see if you
Yeah.
can do one more and maybe give some advice. I mean, you're a veteran now. You've been that guy where you were undefeated and took your first loss. I mean, what would you say to a guy that was just 3-0, fought a really tough guy, lost by split decision? But what advice would you give to him?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I knew I could see the parallels between what he was attempting to do and what I've done. I know, like you brought up, Santo Curotolo, or uh, once when I was young, I was probably like 4-1 at the time. I jumped up to fight Adrian Garcia. He was 7-1 at the time. Things like that. Just to what one I respect it. It shows me the caliber of fighter that he is, at least in his mind and like his mental fortitude, because he's 3-0, and he's not just trying to protect a record and get the easy wins. He's trying to test himself, which shows me like, okay, he wants to go up to that next level. And I remember that feeling. I remember doing things like that, and I think that the advice I'd give him, uh I think he did the right thing, and it didn't pan out there, but I think it's just a learning experience. It's what we all say is the no losses, just learning. And what I'm saying, keep whatever that was that made you go out there with me, because if you fight anybody under that level, or anybody else like that or better, like you get better, you're gonna win.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. And I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you've been through it, you've been there, you've done that. Now you took that guy's O. What's up for
Hmm.
you? I mean, I'm sure you're really excited. And I mean, you almost had him finished, it felt like, in the third round. So what's next for you? I'm sure you're ready for the next step up.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually, so that is that, like, I didn't that the fight, how I feel about the fight is bittersweet. I'm very happy to get a W, especially after being on the skid that I've been on. Uh am I happy to get it by decision? No. Were there things I could have did better out there? Yeah, of course. And so that's been the biggest feeling about it. It's like, wow, um it's a humbling feeling, an amazing feeling to have taken all these lessons from a W, like still have that, all this reflection and all this growth and things like that, but you still get a number in the win column. That was so. I honestly, hindsight is 2020. I think I'll look back on it and be like, man, that was perfect. I needed that. And I'm honestly, I'm already moved on from it. I'm already, you know, uh, hopefully it goes through, but I'm already looking to fight. I'm already
Yeah.
looking to get back out there in December. Yeah, not too far from now.
Well, that was going to be my follow up question because last we spoke, I know you said December and then hopefully again early in the year next year. So it sounds like we're on track for another
Hmm.
fight in January or in December, excuse me.
Hmm.
What do we think we're looking for in that next opponent? Are we looking for someone with a little bit more experience? Are we looking for another young up and comer that we can take an O from? I mean, what are you looking for?
Oh man, so I actually have a name and an opponent. It's been offered to me. It's an experienced guy, great record. When I got it, you know, almost immediately I said yes. And so I'm waiting on their side. I was told, oh, everything sounds good, everything looks great. I was told, yeah, I'll hit you back with whatever in the morning. That was maybe a day or two ago. So in my mind, like you said, you've already seen me running 5Ks, and I'm already outside shadow boxing. I already had some PT with King Mo this morning.
Tumo.
I'm already in sessions to get back out there, out in the cage. So in my mind, I have a fight in 2 weeks. What the other person is doing, who knows? But I want to fight them. So
And I'm assuming since you're not naming a promotion, it's going to be with a different promotion, not Combat Night.
Yeah, yeah. Combat night. We haven't. I don't. I think they're still letting the dust settle from this last card. I see they're still dropping new posts about it,
Yeah.
or new pictures and media and things that hadn't come out yet. But of course, yeah, I'd work with them again. Of course. I don't know if it's time yet. Yeah, hopefully I get with them on with something that's a little closer to me, like Fort Lauderdale. I think they were saying they'll be in Fort Lauderdale though in like March. So after December, because
Yeah.
I wanted to get two before the end of this year, but after December I'll probably be looking at March. Yeah.
And that would be really cool. Obviously, Fort Lauderdale, close to home. You can bring your people out
Yes,
with you.
sir.
And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
speaking of your people, you just mentioned King Mo. Of course, in the last interview, we talked extensively about your training with Pantoja, the UFC flyweight champion. If you're watching
Hmm.
this right now and you haven't watched that first interview, maybe go back after this interview and take a look at it. But I know you're working with legends every single day. Do you think that kind of watching them prepare and recover and move on from fights has kind of helped you kind of cultivate this mindset? Because to me, it seems like there's no ego with you. You won the fight and it's back to your regular life. So kind of where do you get that from?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. I think it's crazy that you say that. I actually just reposted this earlier today. I wish I remember the guy's name right now. He's cool. He ended up hitting me up in my inbox after I reposted it. But he basically said, and I'm paraphrasing it. He said, an athlete needs an ego to begin their journey, and then the rest of the journey is you learning that you don't need it, or learning how to put it to rest, or how to when to use it. And I'm like, wow, that hit. When I read that, I was like, that's on point. Because I think that's where I am now. It is like you come out and you're like, yeah, I'm Badman Findley. I'm knocking people out. I'm this. I'm that. That's how you get yourself out there. And then you realize that there's this is a sport full of tough guys. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This is a sport full of people trying to change their situations. Guys fighting out of third world countries. Guys,
Yeah.
I know my situation, and I know how. Like I literally, everybody was laughing at me when I said it because we were coming inside with the groceries. But I'm like, man, I literally just fought for these groceries. Like I literally had to throw hands to go get some food. You know what I'm saying? But and there are people metaphorically and literally hungrier than me.
Right.
So, yeah, that's where the ego dies, and then then you just focus on what you can control, like the technique, the preparation, the like you said, the recovery, like because then what I learned too is you could beat somebody 9 times out of 10. But if you don't beat them on that night, nobody cares and nobody knows. And it
Yeah.
just matters about how you feel on the night of, and that's what I focus on now.
And I think it's clearly working for you. I mean, again, in someone's backyard, essentially, debuting a promotion and winning out a split decision. I mean, that says a lot. And uh, I know your people were probably very happy to see that win come through for you, and no Judge Shenanigans ruin that victory for you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They were proud, but they were also, they also have made it clear that they expect more from me, and I like that. I like the balance of it. What I will say though about the opponent, I will say he is this situation and past situations have also taught me when you're watching film on someone, um, you kind of you can't expect that same person to come out there. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna, or especially like in my opponent's case, I feel like he leveled up because he fought up to the level of the opponent that he had. Whereas some things I might have seen in film, some of those opponents that he kind of ran through, he just knew that he could run through them, so he could
Right.
have been fighting at that level. So yeah, that's something I took from the fight. Yeah, you can't really expect that you're going out there with the same exact guy that you see in film. And yeah, I think that just understanding that a little bit better is gonna help me a lot in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, if you're already watching film a couple of days after your last fight, I mean, everybody else that you're fighting is probably also watching film, and they don't have a tight turnaround like you do. So I'm sure
Yeah.
if you're watching film and taking these notes, well, they better be watching film and taking those notes. Otherwise,
Yes,
you'll
sir.
make them pay
Yes,
for it.
sir. Exactly. Yeah, and so yeah, now I'm like I'm it feels good to get that skid out the way. I honestly feel like I'm 1-0 right now, and it's just a new beginning. Like I let go of everything that was holding me to those losses, and the just the doubt and everything. Like I think it was good that I kind of had to like go dig deep for a win for my first win back. So now it's like I remember that I have the ability to do that. It doesn't have to be nice and pretty and first and second round knockouts like I'm used to. Like I can also, like you said, you mentioned earlier, like a lot of people don't see me wrestle or change
Yeah,
tactics, or they're like, oh, he's a striker, not knowing like I really came to MMA from wrestling, and I am a high level wrestler. I just something about just putting hands on somebody, like I just fell in love with it. But you know um yeah, when it came down to it, experiences from previous fights told me the situation of this fight, and I realized, after landing a couple shots or going to the body, little things like that, or just a flurry I hit him with at the end of the second round, I realized like, okay, I've broke him. I have him right on that line where if I do anything that makes him uncomfortable and he has to make a choice, um he might choose to lay down, and then that's how the third round went. So really, my
yeah,
advice for him, now that I said that, that would be what I would talk to him about, like work to exhaustion in your camps, or work to those places where you have to make those choices, not just don't get so used to just being the hammer. Like work to those places where you have to make those choices, because when you don't, it's gonna come up live and out there. And then if you've never had to push through that before, you're gonna fold.
absolutely. And I mean, I'll take you back to the third round where, I mean, he was kind of on his knees on the ground and you were kind of standing above him, throwing punches down at his head. I mean,
Hmm.
did you think he was going to fold and get out of there? I mean, did you think you had the win there?
Oh yeah, almost. And when I'm mad at myself because when I finally like entered the guard and got on top of him, I'm landing elbows, I'm landing punches. Um, the choice came up for me. With the time that was left, I felt that he was not attempting to stand up at all. I felt him concede to, being on the ground, maybe thinking that he was up, or, I'm home. The judges are gonna give it to me. I'm just gonna lay here. Um, but I made the choice to keep working, obviously doing damage, keep him down. Now the only choice I wish I would have made was to just blow my wad, like go all out. See, once I knew that I had the fight won, I would have wanted to choose to, okay, now that I know I have it won, let's see if I can have it get a finish. Because there were a couple of times where the ref was, stepping in there. He was right there ready to stop it, and yeah, next time, there won't be a next time, cuz I'm just going to be throwing 'em. Just, that's something I'm back working on, getting that motor. And that what's crazy is after we like thought about everything leading up to the fight, da da da, like stuff that I didn't even remember. I actually hadn't sparred, or like I had to go no contact for like a week or two leading up to the fight. So yeah, so the fight for me me getting off of work, da da da. Like that fight was my first time
Wow.
doing anything in like a week or two leading up to the fight. Like literally, I was just all I was doing was still like lifting, eating right, and like bringing my weight down. Maybe a little run, sauna sessions, but I didn't do any training up to that. So yeah, so I thought that was something else when I took all the factors into consideration. I was like, yeah, wow, like we really did something with that one. I'm proud of that one. You know, even though it's not my most impressive or flashy win, I'm proud of the work that I had to do to get it.
And a win's a win. That's all that matters at
A
the end
win
of
is a
the
win.
day. 7 wins now in the professional win column for you. A lot of
Yes, sir.
finishes in there. I know we're looking to get back in the cage very soon, December, fingers crossed. I'm
Mm.
assuming the goal is get a couple fights in and maybe get to the contender series this coming summer. Do you have a little contender series call out potentially?
Shoot, I don't even know. I don't even know these guys enough. I got one friend who's like, it's crazy that I'm the fighter, but he knows everybody. Like he's doing. I guess he might even just be doing the homework for me. I don't ever know these guys. They like come across my desk and I say yes. So I wouldn't have a call out, but man, the whole thing I haven't even thought that big yet. Like, oh, the contenders. I remember back when I was in that conversation or in those MMA junkie articles, and
Right.
oh, he's on the doorstep and da da da. And I just feel like everything that's happened to me since then, when I lost my world title fight, and then right after, I lost my dad and all the moving around, having to get a job, and all that stuff. I think what this win and everything symbolized, and my new mindset symbolizes, like that era, that chapter for me is over, and I'm renewed. And yeah, so I'm saying all that to say with this contender series stuff, that's that's thinking really big and thinking really forward when I'm really just taking it one fight at a time. Like I really feel like I'm back to 1-0 when it comes around, because it'll come around, because that's how life goes. You keep stepping forward, you're gonna hit whatever goal you have, or you're gonna hit whatever wall you need to climb. So yeah.
Absolutely. And that work ethic, that mentality is what it's going to take to keep moving forward. And I know you're ready. You're locked in, already
Yes,
back in the
sir.
gym, already getting ready and training, and then booking fights, which is just crazy. Blows my mind. And I don't think you've probably never said no to a fight, have you?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. The only time, I don't think I've really ever said no. I might have even said, "Can we move it to this? Can we da 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 that?" Like I want to fight this guy, but sometimes people want you to fight when they want to fight, or when they
Yeah.
see, like, when it's most advantageous to them. But yeah, no, that's not really in my vocabulary when it comes to uh realizing that a guy thinks that he could beat me up in front of everybody. Like I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, let's run it. But I'm being smarter now. So yeah, I'm definitely, and it's like I can beat anybody. It's just about the preparation, preparing for these guys like they prepare for me. One of my homies actually said it the best, and I realized that even with Lewis, even with Perez, these guys, when they fight me, they don't fight how they usually fight. They fight the way that they need to beat me, and that's very telling. Like of what I bring out there. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I need to understand that, and sometimes I might need to do that to an opponent, like fight them how what in the way that it takes to win.
Yeah. Hey, it's the Badman aura and it's the Badman
Yes,
IQ.
sir.
Combine it all into one superpower right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, I know you're training hard. You're not stopping. We're hoping to see you back in December, and I'm sure we'll get you back here doing some more interviews, get your story out to the people. But do you have any messages to the folks and let them know where to follow you, of course, as well? But anything you want to tell to the people watching right now?
Yeah, so on most or all platforms at Badman Findley, that's Badman Findley. And yeah, the only thing I'd like to say is you only lose if you stop, if you never get up, if you feel like you're a loser. Like me, I never felt like I was a loser, and that's the world has a way of getting out of your way uh when you believe in yourself, and you have to, when you put in the actions that match who you believe in or what you believe in. So yeah.
Very nice. And I mean, inspirational, hardworking, intelligent, ready to conquer the world and the flyweight division. That is Shamel. Let me try and get the pronunciation right. The Badman.
Yes,
Oh, that
yes
was bad.
sir.
That wasn't as good as last time. Not as
The
good as
first
last
time,
time.
no, the first time it was good. The first time was good.
Oh, we'll insert that clip in here. The Badman. We'll pretend like none of that just happened.
Yeah.
But Shamel, thank you so much for coming back on Combat Sports today. If you're watching and you haven't already, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the page for more content just like this. But until next time, Shamel and Jake signing off.